Well, the boys are in. I've left them out for as long as I can. Unfortunately, the storms over the weekend, the ground's got too wet, so they're coming in now. So just wanted to basically start where we left off last time. So this is the first night, sorry, this is the second night they've been in. Obviously this is the morning after. This one's had a party. As you can tell, most of his hay has been scattered everywhere and gone into the bedding. No idea what he's been doing, but he's been having a party. Obviously this is last year's bedding, where it's been down over the summer. There's a couple of new bales in on the bank. This is quite a wet horse, and unfortunately it's an old stable, so some of the roof leaks as well. But what I wanted to start with is, obviously, if you have a wet, dirty horse, it doesn't really matter what bedding you go on, they're always going to be a wet, dirty horse. Obviously, it just depends on how well you can manage the wet as you go along. The reason I am choosing Aubiose is literally because, as you can see here, from a wet, dirty horse, the top layer after last night, you wouldn't actually know there is wet under here. The caps layer has done a perfect job of leaving the wet underneath, and he's had a nice dry bed to lie on overnight. He's just got a couple of poo stains, but that's about it really. When I delve in, there will be some wet to come out, just as I say, because unfortunately we've got a slightly leaky roof, and he does wee for Britain anyway. So I will look and find the poop and start skipping out and see where we go. Speak to you later. Okay, so I pulled away the top layer of the bed. I like to keep this bed on a semi-litter, just because I like to take full use of the capped layer, especially when I've got a wet horse. But at the back, obviously I've got a little bit more rainwater than I wanted. You know, from the back, this is an old stable on 2 fields, so it does take a little bit of extra water, I'm afraid, when it's really bad weather. But that's okay. The Aubiose has coped really well. And to be fair, because I haven't touched this back, although it is a little bit wetter than I would want it, the bed is deep enough that I can leave it. A lot of people would now take this out, but it doesn't smell, and I know as soon as it starts smelling, it will, you know, irritate the ginger one's respiratory. So if it was smelly, I would take it out, but I haven't disturbed the cap layer. All I've done is literally just scraped off the top so I can see what's going on. There's a little bit here that hasn't formed a cap layer from where we took the summer bed out and refreshed the floor ready for winter. And there is a small area at the back here that isn't going to cope for the week. As I say, it's just taken a little bit more wee and rain than I'd hoped. So I'm literally going to take this corner out, and hopefully it can start from scratch and start forming its cap layer again. But that's just got a little bit too soaked to leave in. But over here, where he just pees, it's forming a nice solid layer, and as you saw earlier, that wasn't coming through from the top at all. The top was nice and dry.